Whoa! Memphis, Tennessee, straight up this bitch. The Gunt. Big ups to MC Jarbo. Did someone say, wait a minute, Matt, no, should have kept my head and my cap low.
Welcome to the GNN. Welcome to Gunt News Network. Now, we value our audience, watchers, hate watchers, all alike, and we think we should indulge you with another episode 3.5 of the Gunt News Network. But as usual, let's do a bit of housekeeping. You want gun news? You want to get gun news? Please follow us on Telegram, Discord, chudbuds.lol, and more. Please make Godwinson Seethe by contributing, by assisting us in our grift, by donating to streamlabs.com. Now, with that all out of the way, I think we should continue on why we decided to do an additional episode for you, the audience, watchers, and hate watchers. As you might know, as briefly covered just now in our previous podcast, now Joshua Connor Moon, Connor spelled with an E, he declared war on my boss, my lord, my master, Pinochet, by banning him from the Kiwifarms. And we have to be consistent here on the GNN. We have to be consistent. If you kick us out for being annoying on post, we have to do exposés. We do 1 hour long exposés on you. If you kick us out from Kiwifarms, expect another expose by the hardworking people who would embarrass themselves to deliver you what we believe you, the audience, watchers, and hate watchers deserve on the GNN. Now, where were we? Ah, yes, our friend, now Joshua Connor Moon. He banned us, so we are going to go through and pour a bit of dirt on our friend over here. You may remember that the GNN, in conjunction with my boss, my lord, and Master Pinochet, if you go to the videos we've uploaded on this esteemed news network, the GNN, you might have noticed that we did cover a bit on Flamenco and these very salacious confession, this very, very stunning confession that he is in to smut into very disgusting things like a nine graph maze. Very disgusting indeed. But let's listen to how now of Kiwifarms, Joshua Connor Moon, now from Kiwifarms, how did he cover that person, our former friend, Flamenco of flamenco.tv. Sorry about that. There we go. Now let's play the video. Let's play the clip.
My rule, because people say things about me, and I don't appreciate it. So that has tempered my attitude towards the big P word.
Oh, for your information, P stands for pedophilia. And this video, as you can see from the title, is our friend, Joshua Moon, now of Kiwifarms, covering flamenco, or should I say, covering up for flamenco.
I try to be fair, and I try to say I would not call someone a pedophile unless I was so convinced that they were a pedophile that I could shoot them.
Why not? Well, if someone calls me a pedophile, more often than not, they have reason to do so. I like to have a bit of confidence in this world that we live in, that people don't accuse you people don't accuse you of pedophilia for no good reason at all. Why not do that? Let's continue.
Myself with my own hand and feel absolutely no niggling doubt in my head that I perhaps made a mistake. So guilty beyond a shadow of a doubt. And I try to think, what could he say in this instance that would help exonerate him? I tried.
Why would you think that? Or why would you even want to help this disgusting person called Flamenco, who compromised the safety of his users? Many of them are underage, by modding, by being so close to perverts, actual perverts, who for some reason think it's a good idea to confess online to doing very depraved things with his sister, suspected of committing incest. Very disgusting people indeed. And it is, and I've heard rumors up the grapevine, rumors that the moderators of Flamenco's server, a lot of them are indeed like N9, Graph Maze. They show plenty their proclivities towards child diddling. Perverts, all of them. Perverts, all of them. And Flamenco, despite this, refuses to move them as moderators, decides to keep them very, very close. We can see a parallel between him and a nine Gruff Maze, assigning people, pedophiles, perverts, as admins, as moderators of his site. And this places people under danger. And unlike Post, I have to say this, the content of Flamenco covers is more mainstream. He covers, he's in the so-called commentary. Sometimes he covers Jap cartoons, more mainstream stuff. You expect this to be all ages stuff, and yet he associates with these people, and even worse, allows them into his Discord, allows them into his community to interact with a lot of people who are underage, who are completely innocent. I find that very disgusting behavior. And if I were in Null's position, I wouldn't say that. I have to say this. If I can fire a gun at Flamenco, I might have to do it. I would do it without batting an eye, I suppose. It's very disgusting behavior, honestly. It's very disgusting behavior, subjecting your audience to that kind of danger. And yes, I say this again. If you subject me to that litmus test that now of Kiwifarms, Joshua Colomoon has done, this litmus test that he proposed, now of Kiwifarms proposed, if you gave me that litmus test of shooting someone and sleeping like a log after doing it, I would say that this would apply to Flamenco. Let's continue.
Try to sit and come up with this on my own. What could possibly he say? What's the benefit of a doubt here? And I came up with one, and I said I had come up with a good excuse, and I decided not to say what it is because I did not want to help him. But sure enough, he went on Kino Casino with PPP and Andy Worski and Godwinson for the first time in a very long time, and they talked to him, and Flamenco pulls out the one good excuse that I could come up with, which is just that he adds absolutely everybody and joins random fucking groups that he gets invited to. Because if you are in a group of people like VTubers or the anime board on 4chan or the VTuber board on 4chan or the V board on 4chan, and you just accept random invitations, you are without fail within the limit of 250, which is all you can add if you are on a if you're not like a high level on Steam. You can only have like 200 friends. He has 240 on his friends list. I have like 8 on my Steam friends list. I know every single one of them. But I guess if you just add random fucking people and you're participating in anime communities, you are definitely going to get sex offenders on your list. I guarantee you that if
Hold on. Now, Josh, Joshua Moon of Kiwifarms, how do you know that? How do you know that they are sex offenders? Or unless you're telling me you have first-hand experience yourself, how do you know that they are sex offenders? That's very fishy to me, don't you think?
If you just go onto A or VTuber, the board on 4chan, and say, hey, add me on Steam, you will probably get, out of 100 people, 50 of them will have lolicon avatars, and 10 of them will have real kids as avatars.
How do you know that? How do you know that? How do you know that? Now, what's happening? How do you know that? How do you know that you have? How do you know? Is it from personal experience? How do you know that they are sex offenders? How do you know that it's very, very similar to what we see from flamenco? Flamenco's circle of friends, with people having children in their avatars, with them having cartoon characters as their PFPs of young girls. How do you know that? How do you know? How do you know that? Are you a pedophile like our friend Flamenco? Former friend, I'm sorry, former friend.
And it's just like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. And he joins a random German group because it's like a World War II black and white photo in German, and he just thinks like, oh, this is like some like dog whistle conservative group. I can believe that, and I believe that when he says it because he 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 had a previous encounter with PPP where he was definitely guilty, and that was all the porn shit. And his responses there were floundering about, saying, I don't know, it must have been a hacker," like stupid shit. That's like, why would you even get onto a stream if you're just going to say stupid shit like that and make yourself look guilty as fuck?
Well, why would you mention? Why would you go into very intimate details of what child sex offender looks like? Did they tell you that there's child sex offenders? How come you have that sort of experience? How on earth do you have? How do you on earth do you know that? This is what gets me thinking. Wait, under what circumstances would you know that these people were child sex offenders? Why, why, why? You said you had them randomly. Well, I don't believe. I don't really believe you. A lot of people use 4chan. Are you telling me that? Are you telling me that a lot of people who use 4chan are sex offenders? This is really a stretch. This is really a stretch for me to believe that random people can somehow be child sex offenders. Move on.
So I know how he looks when he lies. He looks retarded when he lies. So to come out with like a viable excuse, like, yeah, I just accept everybody, I want to be internet famous. And it's like, okay, yeah, I get it. And by the way, I looked it up, and this is from November 2021. So last year, maybe around the time the guy added, this is the first archive for his account, the other guy, Sanctus. And he's used.
Oh, never mind. I think your rest, I don't think is relevant. But the thing is, the moral of the story is, don't try and defend people suspected of pedophilia. But unless you have strong evidence, to the contrary. Yes, in fact, if you have watched this stream, yes, now we'll continue to go on and on about how, in the end, he feels that our former friend Flamenco, is very, very suspect. But if you try and say anything remotely in defense of that sort of behavior, questions arise. Questions will rise. Arise, I mean, I've already pointed out a few things, like how on earth now Joshua Moon or 4chan could know that these people are actual sex offenders. I still find this tale of randomly adding 250 persons, and some of them being bound to be sex offenders, to be very, very suspect. But that's just me. That's just me. And this couldn't have happened. Episode 3.5 couldn't have happened if Now didn't kick my lord, my boss, my master, Kinochet, from the farms. And episode 3.5 couldn't have happened if our friend is still a friend. It's a friend. It's a potential internet daddy, but Daddy, no. Daddy, no. Why do you have to become the next Jack Murphy? Why never do you have to become the next Pro Jared? Why do you have to stick a bottle up your ass? Why? Why? Oh, why? You're 40 years old, Rekieta. You're 40 years old. Don't send nude pictures. Don't share your nudes with people who so happen to be your pay pigs. Your wife too. Your wife is also 40 years old. I don't care. I don't care how good looking she is or sexually repressed. You have children. It's very ugly. I've looked at pictures of your bottom. For some reason, your bottom looks twice as old. You're 40. I think your bottom looks twice as old as your actual age. You should go and see a doctor. Look at your ass. Look at your exposed ass. And feel very, very concerned. Why is it so wrinkly? Is there something wrong? Is there latent? Are you suffering from some kind of cancer? Some kind of ass cancer? Please, Rekieta, you need to see a doctor. See a doctor for your bum and give your head a good check. Oh no, what are you doing posting news like this? I can't believe, I really can't believe that 40-year-olds of any age, to be honest, sorry, 40-year-olds, if you are around 40, if you're above 35, no one wants to see you naked. No one wants to see you naked. Why do you have to do this? Why do you have to burden? Why do you have to burden your pay pigs? And why do you want to do that? It boggles the mind. Nick Rekieta, you've developed a reputation online to be above it all, to be beyond this disgusting pro-Jared behavior. And you should have known better, to be honest. If I were you, the best thing you could do, the best thing you could do is just to delete everything. Mitigate damage, delete just everything. It's very disappointing. But again, I suppose it's good news for us at the GNN. If people didn't act like idiots, we wouldn't have the content to cover. And we couldn't be able to entertain you, the audience, watchers, and hate watchers. And of course, people are comparing him to Jack Murphy because it actually raises questions. He poses nude with his wife at many locations, and this raises eyebrows, this raises questions about whether there's a third person taking all of these photos and whether that third person is engaged in these disgusting orgies with 40-year-olds. It really makes the mind wonder, to be honest. I'll never understand. I'll never understand. When I hit 40, actually, even at this age of mine, I will never ever expose my nudes to anyone because I know that my nudes will look terrible. Once you hit a certain age, once you no longer look like a twink, it's not a good idea. Your nudes will be bound to be awful looking. Just don't do that. And by the way, if you're younger than 30, if you so unfortunately look like a twink because you aren't old enough, my advice to you is don't put your nudes up there either. Just don't do that. It's quite easy, isn't it? It's quite easy. Do you want this to happen to you? Do you want this to happen? Do you want what happened to Nick Rekieta to happen to you? Come on now. You want to be the center of ridicule? Who on earth thought it's a good idea, to be honest, to do a pro Jared? It's terrible. It's honestly terrible. And as for his wife, I've seen the news as well. All right, she might be better looking, but she is a mother of five. What would your children think? Yes, if my mother were in the same position as well, I'll be utterly disgusted. It is impossible to respect a parent who decides to haul herself out. Never mind that she's 40 years old. It's impossible to respect. A parent who doesn't respect herself and makes respect herself in the first place. What were you thinking? Are you out of your mind, Rekieta, Mrs. Rekieta? Oh no. Oh no. So this ends our little coverage on what has happened. Regretfully, I could not cover this in episode 3 where we dunk on 9 graph maze, but I'm so glad that at least we have this opportunity to come up with episode 3.5 to cover a little bit of this and a little bit of that. With this, well, I'll end stream. Any callers? Are there any callers? Anyone's calling? I will come down right now. Oh, yes, Jack Maron from the Discord chat. Jack Maron from Discord chat says, by the way, it's okay for an adult to watch cartoons. Some of us have autism. Indeed, but it's one thing altogether to make it your profile picture. It's another thing altogether to make it your profile picture, right? As if it personifies what you are. Very, very stupid indeed. It makes people very suspicious, and it doesn't help that a lot of these people are outed as stinking pedophiles. Blue, BLU, shout out to Blue, in the Discord chat says, this is pretty good fan art. So what's he referring to? He is actually referring to this gentleman over here. You might have seen him earlier on episode 3, Mr. FECA, Mr. Fika, over here. This is pretty good fan art. So shout out to Topman, Harriet, appreciate it. I've forgotten what his name is, but shout out to him for sharing this hate art. We value our audience, our watchers, and especially our hate watchers. Okay, is there anything else? Well, no more, I guess. No one's paying attention. There aren't even any chats over here. So, okay. It was a pleasure entertaining you over at the Gunt News Network. So I'll just play the intro as the outro. And I wish you all. Eric the Ghost, I'm about to fold up. What took you so long? Do you have anything else to say?
Your chat isn't moving.
There's no one chatting to begin with.
I'm chatting. I posted a message like 5 minutes ago and it still didn't show up. Fix your OBS.
Fix your OBS. Well, I'm about to end this anyway. Oh yes, but one important thing. I don't think I'll be streaming for the rest of the month.
Really?
I don't think I'll be streaming for the rest of the month. If you want to stream, you can take over Eric the Ghost. I'll send everything over. It's okay.
Yeah, I can't run OBS. That's going to be awful, man.
Yes, good.
Yeah.
But I want episodes.
Maybe I can just
yes.
Maybe I can just upload a sound clip or something like that.
Yes, send it over to me, and we will upload it on the GNN. You are now. Okay, so I'm going to play this. All right.
Memphis, Tennessee, straight up this bitch. The Gunt. Big ups to MC Jarbo.
The audience, who watches. Thank you so much.
Did someone say, wait a minute, Matt? No, should have kept my head.